My necklace has been messed up this whole time, hasn't it? Man, I'm getting a hot flash right now. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, I'm Sierra. Welcome to our home, the Robinson home. Today I am excited to be doing my second trimester update. I am in the third trimester. However, I need to do the second trimester update before I get going into how I'm feeling now. If you haven't seen my first trimester update, you can go check that out, and you can watch our gender reveal video and our finding out that I'm pregnant video. If you are new here, please subscribe and become part of our family here on YouTube, and don't forget to like this video and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time that we post. So as I said, today I'm going through my second trimester. I will go through weeks 13 through 26, and I have written these things out on my phone. As I've said in the past, I use the Ovia app to document my pregnancies. And I actually really like the Ovia app, so I recommend it. I used it most in my first pregnancy, because then after that I started documenting more on YouTube. But I really enjoy this app. So let's just get into it. So starting with week 13. In week 13, I wrote down that I wasn't nearly as nauseous as I had been, which is funny because in my past pregnancies, I've been my morning sickness has lasted. With May, I think it lasted through like week 18. And then with Greta, I think it lasted even through like week 21. And with Ren, it stopped around like week 16. This time it was around week 15 when it was slowing down, I think. Or, you know what? It says even in week 13 that I wasn't as nauseous. So I think that I was starting to get better once I hit my second trimester, which has never happened for me. Because in week 12 I wrote that I was still nauseous. So that's kind of funny, the difference in pregnancies. But I wrote that I wasn't as nauseous unless I didn't eat, which is pretty typical. I still had headaches almost daily. And then also in week 13, it was my birthday that week, and our dog, if you haven't seen our video about our dog Biscuit getting hit by a car, go watch that. But he got hit by a car and he had to get his leg amputated. We ended up going, it was my birthday, we had a trip planned, just like a day trip planned, and he had to be in the hospital and get surgery, get his leg amputated, and so he wasn't gonna be at home with us anyway, so we were able to go on our trip. But anyways, it was that week that he got hit by a car and got his leg amputated. And that week also that I had my birthday, but then I also wrote that I was sick in the car, which, especially these first weeks, the first like, I don't know, first trimester and then into the second trimester, I had pretty bad motion sickness. And so, or that I was sick in the car, and that's, I mean, motion sickness is pretty normal, but I think when you still are experiencing morning sickness, it can be pretty terrible. In week 14, it was my daughter Ren's first birthday. I wrote that I wasn't as sick, but I was tired. I also had my appointment, and I'll insert some footage right here. Where are we? At the doctor. And I got weighed, and you want to sit up here with me, but you don't want to have your shoes on. No. Yeah, do we get an ultrasound? Do we get a picture of the baby? Will you throw that trash in the trash can right here? Okay. At that appointment, I found out that my hemorrhage was still there. I took a picture of the nurse's notes, and the notes that were written down from, I think, the ultrasound tech too, because I had an ultrasound done, and I had a hemorrhage still there, but they said it was tiny. And so the subchorionic hemorrhage was still there. I was getting ultrasounds every appointment still, because so every month, every 4 weeks, because they wanted to see if I still had my subchorionic hemorrhage, if I still need to be on pelvic rest, which I still needed to be. At this point, I was still losing weight though. I had lost a total of 7 pounds at this point. I'm at 14 weeks, or 6 or 7 pounds around week 14 is how much I had lost total. I wrote that I was tired, and yeah, that pretty much sums up how I felt in week 14. In week 15, I got my COVID shot. I know this can be a touchy subject for some people. For me, it was the right choice. I'm really grateful that I did it because anxiety-wise, it's been good that I've just had the vaccine, and also I have lots of reasons, but I'm really glad that I got it. I got Moderna, and with it, you have to get two shots, and so that one I didn't feel like terribly sick with it, but I did get, I'll talk about this later, but I did get a really swollen gland. My left side's really weird health-wise with my other health issues that I have. I don't know what's up nerve-wise, but my left side is really like aware and sensitive, and I read too that with the Moderna vaccine you can get swollen glands, and so I had a super, I think it was down here, it was like right here where I had a really, really swollen gland. My necklace has been messed up this whole time, hasn't it? Anyways, but I wrote, okay, so going off the COVID, not talking about the COVID shot anymore. I wrote that I wasn't as sick, but would randomly get sick. I loved and like craved Dr. Pepper and frozen Kit Kats. And this was definitely a craving because it lasted most of this, I think all the second trimester and into the third trimester. And then it was also my husband's birthday in my 15th week of pregnancy. And that was fun. My mother-in-law left on his birthday, but we celebrated it, so that was at the end of the 14th week, and I made this yummy, like, I think it was just a white cake. No, maybe it was a chocolate cake. But anyways, frosting and then strawberries, like putting sugar on the strawberries and laying them out on the cake. Anyways, it was really good. It doesn't have anything to do with this, but it was really yummy. And then I had lost another pound from the week before. So I so far had lost, let me think, like 8 pounds, 7 or 8 pounds. In week 16, I wrote that I felt the baby kick more, which is fun. The more pregnancies you have, well, after the first pregnancy, you're more likely to experience feeling the kicks earlier, also because you know what to kind of look out for. And so that was kind of fun. That was really obviously so fun to feel the baby kick more. I said that I had a flare up in the swollen gland, that was just happening, and it was so tender at that point. Big and tender. I felt like at week 16 my belly popped, and then also that I had a spot on my left side of my stomach that would hurt. I've talked about that before. And then also my left side was hurting, and I don't know if that had to do with the COVID shot or if it had to do with pregnancy, but I wrote it down. Okay, sit down. Show me your rabbits, girls. That's your Velveteen rabbit? Cool. In week 17, I wrote that I had to pee a lot. That I had to pee so bad is what I wrote. Still randomly nauseous. So I still had bouts of morning sickness, but it wasn't as bad as it had been in my previous pregnancies. I have not thrown up at all this pregnancy, which hasn't been the case for any of mine. Any of my girls, and I even had a stomach flu like 2 weeks ago and I didn't throw up, so it's kind of funny. I don't know. I visited a doctor about my health, but also a new doctor about my health, and then talked to her about my swollen gland, and it was after that appointment that I realized, you know what, this might have to do with the COVID shot. This is becoming a lot more about the COVID shot than pregnancy, sorry, but anyways, I visited her and talked to her about my other health issues. Obviously, swollen gland was still there. My belly was growing and feeling lots more little flutter kicks, is what I wrote at week 17. Don't push on my belly button, just rub the baby. Because it could hurt. Will you guys sing Edelweiss? Take your passy out, Greta. How about the crunch?
You're cute.
You
guys are cute.
In week 18, we traveled to Arizona for my sister-in-law's wedding. I wrote that random nausea and still had my swollen gland. And so I didn't really, I mean, there wasn't too many pregnancy, like I wasn't really nauseous on that trip, even through travel. So yeah, that week was pretty like easy pregnancy-wise, what I can remember. Week 19, we got home from the wedding. Still wrote that I had that swollen gland. Then I wrote the baby has been kicking so much. This is what I wrote in my Ovia app. The baby has been kicking so much. Can feel it on my hand now, and Brett felt her a day or more ago. So that's fun. That's, I mean, especially when your husband can feel the baby kick. That's just such a fun, monumental time, pregnancy-wise. So that was at 19 weeks that I wrote that. And I started to gain weight at this point. So it was after week 15, from week 15 to week 19, I had already gained 4 pounds back of like the total of 8 pounds that I lost. So I was obviously feeling better than I had been. Oh, say shh, shh, shh. Give her kisses. Now give her a hug. Oh, now rock her. Say shh, shh, shh. Good job. Now sing her a song. That's beautiful, Red. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. In week 20, I wrote that I was emotional. It's funny because I didn't really write too much about my emotions for the first weeks in this. Man, I'm getting a hot flash right now. I didn't write too much about my emotions in the first weeks of the second trimester. So that's funny. I wrote that I was emotional in the 20th week. My swollen gland was going down, almost gone. At this point, my right side was hurting too. And what I mean by that is like my entire side, like laying on it was just, or it just is in pain. I don't know. I am gonna, after my pregnancy, I'm gonna actually have an MRI done to see nerve-wise what's going on with me. And so all this health stuff will hopefully be taken care of. I had my second COVID shot, and I also felt a lot of kicking. Could feel it on my hand, feel her on my hand a lot. So that is so fun, so fun. In week 21, I wrote, figured out name, question mark. And no, we had not figured out the name because we just figured out the name like a week or week and a half ago. So I thought that maybe we had, but we hadn't. I'm going to do a video though of baby names that we love but won't be using, because I have so many. It's been this has been hands down the hardest time to pick out a name. And so I'm going to do a video or two or more on names that we love but won't be using because I have so many, especially, well, mostly just girl names. I talked about this in my first trimester video, but my doctor, I had blood work done, said that my vitamin D was at like 146 or something like that, 145. Ended up being bad labs. I don't know, a mess. They messed it up on the labs, and it was actually only 28.6, and so extremely low. So now I was put on vitamin D supplements. So kind of just so ridiculous, just kind of funny. Because I had been worried about that. I had even gone to a doctor. I don't know when I had gone to the doctor for, I think it was in the first trimester though, when I went and saw a different doctor to see about the vitamin D stuff, and they didn't really do much, but kind of funny. I wrote that the baby kicks a lot and that I was feeling Braxton Hicks. And that's funny because that's the first time that I wrote even anything about Braxton Hicks, that I was in week 21 that I was starting to feel those. And I might have felt them somewhat earlier, but the first time I documented them was in week 21. I don't feel good. I'm so warm right now. In week 22, I wrote that there was more pain in my body, not comfortable on the bed. I was feeling sciatica, pains, and if you know how that feels as a pregnant woman, it's not fun. I wrote that I was feeling nauseous like the first trimester, and so it's kind of funny, this pregnancy, I feel like, so other pregnancies, I've had it pretty late, you know, it can get even up to like week 21 or something. But this pregnancy, I feel like I've had random spurts of like first trimester nausea. And that's what I wrote down here. Lots of kicking, and in my app it apparently said that she could hear more now, so that's fun. I think that when they can hear more in the womb, then they also react to it by kicking and moving around, so that's so fun. And I also wrote that I was at an emotional low. So obviously these couple weeks emotionally, well, I guess I wrote in week 20 and week 22 that my emotions were, that I was emotional. So, and I had been taking a medication. I've talked about this. I was prescribed at the beginning of my pregnancy it's actually a nausea medication, but you can use it for anxiety on demand instead of like hydroxyzine, which I've taken in the past before I was pregnant with this baby. And I actually took it after I had Greta too, I think. And anyways, but I had been taking that on demand, but I'll talk more about that in a little bit. In week 23, I wrote that I was so nauseous during the night going to sleep. So why am I so warm and yet why do I feel so terrible right now? I wrote that I was tired, bugged by food still, not being able to find anything. I talked about this in my first trimester update, but if you're pregnant, you know how that is sometimes when you just want a specific food and you can't find it, you don't have it in your house. It can be frustrating. I wrote again that the baby kicks a lot, and then this week I also went and visited my sister and my mom and my other sister, and I surprised both my sisters. Didn't know that I was coming. I called my sister when I was on the way there, or she called me when I was in the airport, and then telling her that my other sister I surprised in my older sister's house, so that was fun. My mom knew I was coming, but it was really fun. Oh, am I dying? I'm 31 weeks pregnant. I should not be getting nauseous. I also wrote that I was somewhat nauseous. I mean, even traveling when you're pregnant can be really tiring, but I was also carrying my 1-year-old a decent amount, and so my body hurt after that trip and I was just exhausted. I had also gained from week 15 to 23, I had gained a total of 10 pounds back. So from weeks 19 to 23, I had gained a total of 6 pounds back. So I was starting to, oh, not even back, like added to the amount. So I had gained back and then added some to my original weight. So sick. In week 24, I wrote that I still loved ice cream, so I don't think that I talked about it in other weeks here, but ice cream has been my constant with like every pregnancy, so I still loved ice cream. Easily car sick. I capitalized sciatica, so I was having pains there, I guess. Leg pain and arm pain on left side, and I don't know if it was before that, but in the girls' playroom, they have tiny little chairs, and I feel like ever since I wrote it down here, and maybe even before that, I've had to like sit on the girls' chairs when I'm in there because standing can be so exhausting to me. And I also, anyways, so that's what I wrote there. In week 25, we took our family trip to Dollywood. You can also watch that video. I'll link that if you want to check that out. I was exhausted. I felt sciatica if I held around. I feel like that trip to my sister's house really kind of flared up my body to feel really pregnant and in pain. I also wrote that I was car sick in the car if I turned around to check on the girls or anything. I didn't really, food wasn't that great. I wrote so much anxiety and that I was still feeling nauseous. And the nausea wasn't like extreme, like I needed to be in the fetal position, like first trimester type feelings, but just that I still had nausea randomly right now. Okay, and then in the last week of my second trimester, week 26, I wrote that I was so tired, angry, everyone was sick, and that my sense of smell, I think that what I meant was that it was heightened. I talked about this, I think, in my first trimester update, but our dog Biscuit, just the smell of him is so hard for me to handle. So I wrote a total from weeks 23 to 28, I gained 10 more pounds. And so this is a total of like 24 pounds gained, but I did lose 8 pounds. So, let's see. So I gained 16 pounds total from my beginning weight, then losing the 8 pounds, gaining the 8 pounds and then 16 pounds. Does that make sense? And that was until week 28, so that goes into my 3rd trimester a little bit.
No, but she's actually getting pretty big, I think.
Yeah, I just feel like when you'd see movements that big, it'd be like the baby's like 38 weeks.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Right now she has space to flip around.
Oh, that's true.
Hi, baby, will you move around?
That looks great, honey.
Oh, thanks. Come on, baby, move some more. Earlier today, I felt her over here and over here. So she's that big, yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
You see her?
But yeah, there is my 2nd trimester update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check back soon for my next pregnancy update. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.